Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool.
Like, you were talking about how they tried to build an archer civilization in Age of Empires 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually where problems come from, is you label something, which is true. Like, when they created the guidebook for Age of Wonders Conqueror's expansion, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is an archer civ, this is a cavalry civ. They weren't really... Like, I'm pretty sure they didn't say, let's build a cavalry civ when they made them. They're just like, what are the Franks famous for? Paladins. Okay, let's make some paladins and some axemen, right? And then afterwards they're like, okay, how does this play? They're cavalry civ.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they did it in that order. Whereas nowadays I think they go, we have 27 archery civs, so we need another infantry civ.
Yeah, well, even if you look at it, so like the samurai is... What's a samurai? Well, he's an elite duelist who seeks out challenges of other elite duelists. So he will be good versus unique units. That's the samurai's bonus.
Yeah.
Then the jaguar warrior he's really good against infantry.
Yeah.
He has a bonus versus infantry because he just looks cool. Like they weren't even considering historic. It's like this.
But I think historically, to become a jaguar warrior, you had to win 4 battles or something. So they had to be good at fighting. Right?
Yeah, but it's this cool guy with a jaguar pelt on him, and he's got a cool sword.
Yeah.
So let's have him shred through infantry. And then the Goths is this guy with a big shield.
Yeah.
So let's make their Huskarl resistant to arrows.
But they weren't thinking, okay, we need them to have an amph. Mm-hmm. They went...
Or you even... I don't think the Persian war elephant would be made in modern age as a creature.
Yeah.
Because they suck. They're terrible unique unit. But they're also really cool. Because they have the most health. They deal the most damage. They're the most expensive. And they're biggest and bestest. But you can convert them, so they're terrible.
So then bringing that back to what we were talking about just before, the Garth Nix, I think even if he doesn't have the Jungian terms, let's say, or the Campbell terms for the Unimyth, I think he embodies it through his writing and his understanding of just what makes a good story.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe he does have, like, a bajillion mythology books on his shelves.
He might do. I mean,
Like, his worlds are so creative, it's... Mm-hmm. He's one of the few authors, I think, that's really pushing the realms of storytelling, because a lot of them... And it in a way that actually adds to it. Like you can do a Morrowind style story, right? Where it's like, oh, our Dark Elves are weird, and our setting is weird with bugs and stuff. And, you know, it's kind of interesting, but it feels a bit disconnected from that substrate that all humans draw from, so we have a common understanding. Whereas I think Garth Nix somehow manages to make his worlds totally unique, and yet they still follow that same substrate of human understanding and collective unconscious. It's kind of, I think the other people that did that successfully is the Warhammer people, like with Rick Priestley.
Can I say how much I hate It's Weird with Bugs?
Okay.
So, Heroes of Might and Magic, Olden Era, has the Hive faction.
Yeah.
And they actually recently remade all of them because people didn't like how they looked, so they redid all of them. And I hate the faction.
Yeah.
And why I hate it is it's not how Heroes of Might and Magic works. Because what Heroes of Might and Magic is you have a knight. And who are the soldiers the knight brings to his banner? In number 2, it was all humans. The knight brings an archer to his banner, he brings a pikeman, he brings a swordsman, cavalier, paladin.
Yeah.
In number 3, the knight and the cleric bring to their banner monks, griffins, angels, and human soldiers.
Yeah.
The barbarian gathers to his banner goblins and orcs and trolls and cyclopses, thunderbirds and behemoths, because they're chaotic, rampaging monsters. The shaman, I believe that's the swamp dweller, brings to him strange swamp creatures, but they're...
The witch and the something.
They bring to them these strange creatures. The wizard brings to himself genies and magi.
And the alchemist brings golems and titans.
And they bring, and those creatures that the wizards are bringing these are all creatures with a spark of intelligence or knowledge, or they're creating them, such as they craft the gargoyles, they craft the golems, the genie. He might have captured a genie. Yeah. The gremlins are there to learn from him. The magi are there to learn from him. And even, I think they construct the giants. Because they're made of stone. And then the titan is an inhabited spirit. And then you might go, oh, but the Kriegans are a race. But that's kind of a secondary story to the actual myth of, was it a warlock and a...
No, they're heretics and... I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, but the heretics bring these demonic torturers to their faction, but their differences is like it's a hellhound, it's an imp, it's a devil, it's a frit. Whereas the bugs, it's here's a hive of bugs. They're all part of the same sort of species. They just hold different roles in the hive, and they happen to have some heroes with them. And it's just completely not Heroes of Might and Magic. I think
it's tricky to do because it's a neat idea. Songs of Conquest also does it. They have like the fungus faction.
Yeah.
And they're basically undead, but they're
that's Dominions, not Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah, well, it's a neat realm of fantasy to explore, but there's not much mythological basis for it, and Heroes of Might and Magic is very much rested on that mythology, I think, more than anything. And I think even now, this might be heretical to some Heroes fans or Might and Magic fans more, but they had this uproar when they were going to add like a sort of mechanical faction to Heroes of Might and Magic, and they ended up not doing it. And I think in an interview, it was either John Van Caneghem or Greg said something along the lines of, even though it takes place in the Might and Magic universe, at its core, it's a fantasy game. Even though it takes place in a sci-fi universe, it is a fantasy game. And so you don't have to necessarily be true to the lore of Might and Magic to...
Yeah. And even looking at Horror of the Abyss, when I look at the pirate faction, Cove, Cove is an interesting one because it's... Alright, so the castle is called Cove, and I think the castle is an important thing. But you also have these pirate captains. You have like the most powerful wizard pirates in the realm, and warrior pirates. So, of course, they've got a few buccaneers under their banner.
Yeah.
But they've also got these monsters of the sea.
Yeah.
And then you look at the factory, and the factory's got these engineers who are more technologically inclined. And it's even their design so brilliant is their base unit is it in nature, and then their upgrades are them subverted by technology.
Yeah.
And that is very much, it's not this is a race and some things going on. It's, you've got a halfling, and you've got an orc, and you've got a human who are all technologically inclined, who've gone to nature and subverted it.
So what if
technology to their will? And then, I haven't played the Norsemen enough, the Bulwark. So I don't know if Bulwark actually fixed it. Like the little bit of Bulwark I played, I don't like Bulwark.
I think they're really, really fun on a mechanical level.
I don't like their music.
I don't like their music.
Their Grail's cool looking.
I don't like its effect, but it is very cool.
Their Grail's cool looking. I don't like their castle though. Like everything else of their castle, I don't like, and I don't like the appearance of their units.
No, they're very, very cool, but it's on a mechanical level. I also I don't like their.
And I wonder if them being cool on a mechanical level actually takes away from them. It's here's a cool mechanic, here's a unit. Whereas if you look at the other things, we have a design which is so the undead have to be sort of creepy and weird and evil. What's creepy and weird evil powers that also suit this creature?
Yeah. No.
Whereas the what was he called? The Jotun?
The Jotun, yeah.
Jotun. His teleport ability is cool. Doesn't suit him in my mind. Like, I look at that unit, and it's like, that teleportation, that's what he does?
It is a little...
And also, the Mammoth's ability is like that. That's the Mammoth's ability. It's a cool ability, but that's its ability. Or the rune creating of the
Yeti rune
Yeti is very similar to one of my least favorite units in the game, which is the Ogre Magi. The Ogre Magi's Bloodlust that's kind of out of left field.
Yeah.
It sort of makes sense, like he's giving Bloodlust to the units, but it's like, alright, we've got a Yeti. Now we got a Yeti with a big hammer that creates runes. And it's like, no?
The Yeti, its other ability is actually really... I haven't ever had it work, but it's really interesting. All negative status effects only last for one turn on the Yeti, which I think feels a bit more like mythical Alps creature that you just can't stop. Like kind of like a... what are those things called? The nightmare monkeys from like Eastern European mythology. Alps.
Yeah, Alps.
Yeah.
From the Alps, yeah.
Alps, yeah.
Yeah, and it's even some of the factory unit special powers I feel are a little bit off.
Like the invincible Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, like I do like the Cove unit's abilities. I think they actually work. Like the sharpshooter has that dead eye shot, which is cool, and the their top tier units just better than everyone else.
Yeah, I don't like that part. That's a little weird. Like, it hits harder than the Behemoth, and it's like, wait a minute, come on, it's a Behemoth.
I'm not exactly certain what its powers, but also the shield unit has insane defense.
It has 2 powers. So its first power is poison, so just like a wyvern. Yeah. And then its second power is, it's called Revenge. And basically it does more damage proportional to the amount of them that have died or been wounded.
Yeah.
So if you have a stack of 10 and it does X damage, and then you have a stack of 5, it doesn't do half of X damage, it does like 3/4 of X damage.
Yeah.
So
they get worn down slower over time.
Yeah, so you have to kill all of them to stop them from doing high damage.
What's the shield units? They're tier 6?
The Nyx Warriors.
Nyx Warrior.
Yeah.
What's their power?
Your attack doesn't work against them. So like if you have a really high attack stat, it ignores 30% of it.
Okay, so it's like the opposite of the Behemoth.
Yeah, so they're exactly the opposite of the Behemoth. They're very, very tanky.
Yeah, and they have
a giant shield.
Yeah, it's this giant lizard man with a huge shield.
And big scales and armor.
And you can imagine a pirate going into the ocean, coming across this lost civilization, and going, hey, I got gold.
Yeah.
And these creatures are like, what? Okay, sure, let's get on the pirate ship and go with him.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's my problem with Heroes 5, which is the warlocks, like people say, oh, this is the realm of the Dark Elves, but it's still like, I don't like that there's a bunch of Dark Elves. Like the humans, that's actually meant to kind of be their special thing in my mind.
Yeah.
Is this faction is mostly populated by humans.
It's actually
with their greatest unit being an angel, which is them reaching to the divine. And the Griffin, I've always been iffy on the humans actually having the Griffin. And it's like a cool symbol of knighthood, but even then...
Well, because it is on, like, the Griffin Heart family, right? They have that as their emblem. But it is funny because the ancient thing Griffins are most famous for is actually hating horses.
Yeah.
And you have this faction with the most horses, which is funny.
Apparently in the campaign, if you play as Gem, she gets weirded out by her faction having centaurs.
Yeah. No, she gets weirded out by a lot of the different mix-ups that she sees. But they do have lore reasons for everything, basically.
Yeah, they do have lore reasons,
but still, I think...
I don't care about your lore, I care about your lore.
Yeah.
I care about the show don't tell lore and all.
It's actually the reason I'm I don't like the lineup of the what are they called? Stronghold in number 3, like the barbarians.
Yeah.
Because even though they have a lot of the same units as in number 2, in number 2 goblins have green skin, trolls have brown skin, ogres have a different color of brown skin, and they have like
ram's horns.
Yeah, they have horns. And then in number 3, they're all just green-skinned orc variants, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the orcs in number 2 are like pig-headed like men. They don't have
like
green skin.
Orangey red skin.
Yeah, they're like orange.
Yeah, and they use crossbows.
Yeah. But in number 3, they're much more D&D.
Yeah, no, number 3, like, I think the barbarians, as much as I like them, their 3 lower tier units very much fail because it's goblin, goblin, goblin.
I think the Behemoth was like it's a Star Wars reference, but it works so well. I think I would love a mod for number 2 when eventually they start modding number 2.
Yeah,
I would love tier 7, tier 6 even. No, there's tier 6 already, right? In number 2.
Yeah, there's tier 6. You just only have 5 unit slots.
Yeah. So a tier 7 mod where now I don't think it should either be like you need a Grail to build the tier 7 unit or like. It has to be hard to build them.
There's no Grail. You just get a super item.
Yeah, but like you have to find a Grail equivalent to build a special building in your town to get the tier 7, or maybe you can only get the tier 7 from outbuildings out on the map somewhere. But something like that for Heroes 2, and if they added the Behemoth as the barbarian tier 7, I'd be like perfect choice.
Something I actually found absolutely fascinating in my little short play of playing Heroes 2 Slugfest is how insanely powerful the Crusader is against undead. It from a balance perspective, it is so dumb.
Yeah.
It is terrible. But from an actual storytelling perspective, it's this holy knight. And then you play with it's like, oh, they flew their bone dragons in to attack, and I'll attack with my Crusader. It's gone. And oh, there's the Vampire Lords, arguably one of the strongest units in the game. Unless it's fighting a Crusader. And there's 200 skeletons. Oh, the Crusader hit it.
Yeah, no, they do. But like I said, you can't go too far because like that dream I had, like, oh, mind controlling your enemy was that's fun. You're a powerful mage, so you should be able to mind control your opponent's character.
Yeah, no, it's just a bizarre thing. But again, I think that's my biggest issue with Olden Era. Well, no, my biggest issue is the music. God.
No, it's the visuals for me.
It's the music, like the town music.
Yeah,
I don't like any of the songs.
I just think the visuals. I can't look at the game.
No, the visuals are really washed out and hard to look at.
Yeah,
and the music's just not there at all. The sound effects of the units aren't there.
The UI is also
the UI. Like, there's interesting ideas in there. But,
but it's interesting ideas in the sense mechanically, like we were talking about.
Yeah,
where they've slowly been losing their way into. Mechanics are more interesting than a cohesive mythological narrative.
I'm very curious what Horn of the Abyss's counterpart, how that'll play out.
Oh, are they going to do that? They're going to do like a cove or something?
No, not that. I'm talking about Horn of the other mod.
Oh, is it called Restoration of Erethia? Is that what it's going to be called?
I can't remember.
Day of Reckoning.
Day of Reckoning.
Yeah.
I'm curious how Day of Reckoning will play out.
So Day of Reckoning, I think Horn of the Abyss took the better approach where they're kind of adding new units, but they're also paying tribute to the lore of Horn of the Abyss.
Yeah.
Whereas Day of Reckoning is paying tribute to the lore, to the lore of Might and Magic. Yeah. So Day of Reckoning is much more heavily focused on the lore of Might and Magic, but paying tribute to, making a couple like new units. So they're doing it much more lore focused on Might and Magic.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is Might and Magic lore is a bit of a mess.
Yes.
But the one thing, though, to point out, which I don't know how this happened, I think it was in the 80s or 90s. Sci-fi and fantasy, like we said, Might and Magic is a sci-fi fantasy, but they didn't really used to be different. It was, I don't know when the distinction came about. I think it was more like the 80s or 90s, but it used to be that most fantasy worlds had spaceships or just some random things in them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings was kind of an unusual exception, and even then, he wasn't trying to be specifically fantasy because he has like Saruman building machinery and industry and everything else. But there's always been this overlay of both in the worlds. Like the Dying Earth, which is one of those foundational works for modern fantasy, takes place in Earth's future. And there's like spaceships and there's like futuristic cities and moving sidewalks and like all that sort of thing. So the mix is there. But I think Might and Magic, it's more than that. It just has like such a ridiculous kitchen sink of like, here's a snow tiger, and the snow elves are a big deal there. But the creator of it, one of the main creators, Fire Paladin, every time I've talked to him about game design, I really like the thoughts he has. So he has, because game design, it's more than just interesting ideas, right? Because
and mechanics,
because like you said, Olden Era has really interesting ideas. Like the Chinese civilization and Age of Empires has really interesting ideas.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking this. I was playing a Slay the Spire mod that added like a Pokemon character. And I was thinking, this is a really cool mechanic. It's even a very fun mechanic. But the gameplay itself isn't actually that fun. Yeah. Even though the mechanic is... Because basically how it works is every time you play a card, it evolves. So you play a Pikachu, it evolves into a Raichu, then you can play it again. And it's like, that's such a fun idea. And it's like... And it's even... It's a really clever idea. It's really cool. And it's a fun idea. Like, you hear the idea and you're like, oh, fun. But then you play it and you're like, it's not actually that fun to play. It's very fun to think about, but it's not fun to play in this implementation. So you need another couple layers of game design, which is inherent understanding, which is what the Disney game designer hammers home about. Like, you just have to be able to sit down and know that a guy with a gun can shoot the gun.
Yeah.
And he would even do stuff like flags on ships would fly the opposite direction because that makes more sense to a player that doesn't know anything about ships. Like, okay, my ship's moving that direction. Okay, that makes sense to me. Even though that's not how ships work. But you want to have that inherent understanding. And part of that inherent understanding is mythology. Yeah. And you need to have this tie to the history of human experience. So I think he is good at that sort of thing. Like, he does, maybe not so much on the mythological side, but on the... like, you're like, why can a Jotun teleport things? You're like, but he is very much on the side of, like, the guy with a big shield blocks hits. Like, so I think he has that nailed. They made some really weird choices. Like, they actually overhauled the game engine to allow animation interpolation, and it looks terrible. Like, I don't know why they did it. They also made the water reflective, and it also looks terrible. I hope those are optional. Yeah. Or they might look at them and they realize, like, what are we doing?
In my comparison video, Heroes 2 is by far the best looking of all the games.
Yeah. No, I think that's
and it is literally
It's so cohesive as well.
It's style versus better graphics.
You're playing a tapestry, right? Like everything just meshes together.
Yeah, it's literally style over everything else. It's, okay, I'm going to take this, because look at number 1, and number 1 also uses that pixel art, and they have a few less pixels to work with, and all their things look kind of doughy and dopey and silly, and it's like, alright, we're going to take this in a slightly more serious direction, and we're going to make it look like medieval art. Not the silly medieval art, but what we think medieval art should look like. And it comes together in a very beautiful thing, and it looks like your screen's covered in, I don't think it's a tapestry, it's a mosaic.
Yeah, like little stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing about Day of Reckoning is they have Greg on the team, who's the original Heroes 3 creator. Yeah. So that's great. And then they also Horn of the Abyss is trying to make the game more balanced for
nerds.
Competitive play.
Yeah.
Whereas Day of Reckoning, they're not really focused on that. So I think that'll also give them a bit more freedom to...
Yeah, I feel like whenever someone looks at... Alright, I'm going to caveat slightly, but you look at the Necromancers, and you go, alright, this is the most powerful faction in the game twice.
Yeah.
Because they've got the Necromancy skill, and they got the Master Vampires.
Yeah.
And so we need to nerf the ever-living hell out of this. And then you look at the conflicts. All right, they get more phoenixes than any other faction, and their grail is broken.
Yeah.
We need to nerf both of those things. I don't know if that's the right approach.
Now, the nice thing about Horn of the Abyss is they seem to be huge Heroes 2 fans.
Yeah.
Like, everything they do seems to bring the game closer to Heroes 2.
Yeah.
And so I think they are also still trying to keep a bit of whimsy. For example, when they nerfed the phoenixes, so basically they changed the phoenix growth so it's in line with all the other factions. They then added a new building, which they did the art for, and it looks beautiful, to the conflicts, which brings the creature growth back to the same level. It brings it up. So it was at 4, they nerfed it to 2, and they added a building which brings it up to 3.
Yeah, they gave it a dwelling.
So they gave it like a 50% boost, basically. Yeah. So it's still lower than the base game, but it's higher than everyone else. And I think that's a really good way to... Because there is a level where, forget competitive or not, if when you play a game, all you do is just you have golf around with some skeletons and snowball the whole map, it's not even fun for you after a while, right? So you have to... But I think their nerf was a bit heavy-handed. Like, they halved necromancy. Like, that was...
It is my favorite faction in 2 is the Knights.
Yeah.
I adore them so much. And part of that is because they're an underdog. Because you've got a world with black dragons, vampires, elves that shoot arrows faster than anyone else, titans that throw lightning bolts.
Yeah.
And then you've got an army of peasants with 1 hit point each. And you've got knights and cavaliers that don't stand a chance versus these things, but despite that, they still fight.
So how would you balance the knight faction to, like, let's say you're getting sick of them, you're like, okay, I love them, but I can't win, right? So you're the Horn of the Abyss team, you're like, I want people to actually have fun playing the knights.
Yeah.
What do? So my thoughts were, you make them their well, or some well equivalent, give a 50% population boost to each of the dwellings. So basically, they just get more units than everyone else once you build that building. And then the other thing is, I think if peasants, like in number 5, gave you a gold per day, it would just offset a little bit of their costs, which I think would also bring them in line a bit more. Because you don't want to give them, like...
They do get more paladins than anyone else.
Yeah, but I think they need more. But you don't want to make them lose their identity, right, either.
I would give them stables.
So they just move faster.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a nice one. I like that. Because you want to do something that doesn't do away with their identity.
Yeah.
But gives them some advantage somewhere. And yeah, stables I think would be a really good one. I think...
The barbarians are already really fast, so I don't want to take that away from barbarians number 2. Is they're meant to get all of the map fast because that's their abilities.
Yeah.
But where the road is paved and the path is straight,
then
the humans can march across it quickly.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Because barbarians are meant to have early game power. Barbarians are meant to be good in the early game.
I also think there's something to be said in number 2 that the games have been slowly drifting away from, especially Olden Era. Because Olden Era gives you faction-unique abilities with its law system, which is very Age of Wonders of it.
Age of Wonders 3.
Yeah. So you basically, the more you invest in a single faction in Olden Era, the better they just become. Like, if you have vampires and your opponent has vampires and you're an undead player, your vampires will be better because you bought the law that gives them +5 attack.
Yeah.
But I think Heroes of Might and Magic 2, especially more than any other game in the series, I'm not sure about 1. I haven't played 1. I've just seen 1 played. Well, I've played like a tiny bit of 1, but like not much. You don't exactly play a faction. Like, you kind of... like, when I was doing the campaign, like, you're a sorceress, and then you, like, sneak into a warlock town, and you're like, yes, I have black dragons now. Like, you might play the hero that you start with as the sorcerer's hero, but the moment you get black dragons, you're now playing with black dragons.
And the moment you get genies, you play with genies.
Yeah, like, you're trying to... It's more like it's an RPG, and you start with your starting kit. You're like, I'll start with a bow.
They're the heroes of Might and Magic.
So it's like, I'll start with a bow and arrows and 1 shield.
And I'll turn into a stealth archer.
And then you find yourself a claymore, like a +6 claymore, which is the black dragon. And you're like, okay, I got the claymore now, right? Like, that's kind of more how I see Heroes 2. You're always trying to get the best compositions you can. Like, you're like, okay, I've got gargoyles now, I'm doing great. I've got phoenixes now, I'm doing great. So, but the problem with the knights is they bring very little to the table. Like, the champions do, and...
They're archers.
Their archers kind of do, but all the other archers are better, basically. But their archers are... you get a decent amount for cheap. But the problem with the Knights Archers is you take like a single hit from someone and they're gone. Like, and you're just like, oh, I just lost all my firepower. It's actually like, I don't like tactics as a skill, but the Knights would really benefit. Actually, you know what? I think this was how I would fix Heroes 2 faction, just off the top of my head now. You know how there's unique abilities, like the Necromancers get Necromancy.
Yeah.
And the Warlocks can also get Necromancy, but it's super rare.
Yeah.
But I think the Knights should get Tactics, and then maybe the Barbarians can also get Tactics, but it's super rare. I think that would be the thing to make... Because if you could just block your archers from getting insta-killed by your...
Black Dragon flies across the map, breathes breath weapon on your pikemen, kills the archers anyways.
Yeah. But, that's dragons for you. The other thing you could do, which I think would also work, is give weighting to the knights, maybe, that could be part of the tactics skill, because the problem with champions and wolves, they're some of the fastest units in the game, but because if they attack first, they are in the middle of the enemy's area and they'll get destroyed, and if they don't attack, they lose their turn.
Yes.
So I think letting those guys wait would be really beneficial.
You charge your champion at the strongest unit and take them out.
Yeah, but then your champions all die. Because the champions and wolves also don't have great hit points. Like, champions a bit better, but they still don't have...
No, the human units have good hit points.
Yeah. And then so champions and archers are basically the only things the humans have going for them. The paladins are okay in some situations, but they're really fragile.
My thoughts is, it'd be a weird thing to do, but... And it's like in other games, it always feels bad, but they almost need it in Heroes 2, is give the paladins first strike.
Yeah, I hate first strike so much.
That's the problem with it. First strike sucks. But the thing with paladins is, if you have Dragon Slayer on them, and you have the natural production rate of paladins versus the natural production rate of black dragons, a Dragon Slayer paladin, if it hits the black dragons first, can weaken them enough for the rest of your army to win.
Yeah.
They never get to do that, because the black dragon will fly over and kill them all.
And that's also the issue with... it's Heroes of Might and Magic. Yeah. And the problem with Magic, which Horn of the Abyss actually did solve, which is amazing, because they fixed the first aid ability and they solved the problem with Magic, is it doesn't matter, like, you can't have glass cannons in Heroes of Might and Magic, because if they have high attack and low health, like the human archers or the paladins, a single lightning bolt does far better against them than it does against a unit with medium attack and really high health, like an ogre. Yeah. Like, ogres, spells don't do too much against them, but a paladin, you just melt them with a lightning bolt, right? Yeah. Like, you're getting... If you hit an ogre with a lightning bolt and kill 3 ogres, you're stopping like 60 damage. You kill a paladin with a lightning bolt and kill 2 paladins, you're stopping like 120 damage to 240 damage.
And the problem with trying to... you don't want to destroy the paladin's personality. That's the... Like, the human's personality in Heroes of Might and Magic is their underdog.
So I think a couple things you could do. They get the ability to wait through the skill of tactics, or they could just get tactics in general. Or, I think this one's fun, it just came to me, You know how every faction can only carry 5 units at a time?
Yeah.
They can carry 6. So they can actually have everyone in their army at once.
Why would you want that? Peasants are slow.
Well, you wouldn't take the peasants. You would. The problem there, Well, you could have like 2 stacks of archers or something.
Yeah.
Like, because the problem there is you would just start buying knight heroes to have like a better hero.
Yeah.
So I think what you would have to do is, it wouldn't be an aspect of the hero. It would actually be an aspect of the units.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Mixed unit tactics. You can stick multiple knight faction units in the same slot. So even if you're a warlock, you conquer a knight town.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm going to stick my my spearmen and my archers in this one slot here, right? And I think what it would do, because the human specialty is leadership, right? So that they have more morale, is every time you mix a stack like that, it becomes a -1 stack as if it was an undead unit.
Yeah.
And so you have to have very good... So you can't do it with every stack. Oh, this is actually brilliant.
I feel like that feels too modded and weird. But humans, they're faction unique being morale. I wonder if that should just be more doubled down on.
Like they... I mean, it's already pretty, like, they're not going to get upset most of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they should get piggy wiggies really often.
Yeah, also, they're kind of like the satyrs in Horn of the Abyss, where they actually trigger morale twice as often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And that would actually work really well with their underdog faction, because what would happen is, so, Black Dragon flies in, breath weapons the paladins. You've lost half your stacks of paladins. Paladins always retaliate. They hit the Black Dragons, they damage it a bit. It's your turn. Crusaders have a very good initiative, so Crusaders go now. You cast Dragon Slayer on your Crusaders. You hit the dragon, and it hurts it a bit more. It breath weapons you. You lose a bunch more Crusaders. Then the Crusaders hit it again because they retaliate on retaliates. Then they get to a second turn with their Piggy Wiggy.
Yeah.
And they hit the Black Dragons again. Black Dragons have retaliations, but they still have theirs, so they hit the Black Dragon again.
Yeah. Or you could I think it might be a bit too gimmicky, but you could also do, like...
I'm saying they don't get it every time, but it's just like...
No, I was just thinking of something else that might be too gimmicky, which is their morale increases as their units die. Because kind of like Warrior's Honor in Age of Wonders.
Yeah.
But I think it might be too gimmicky.
Yeah, no, it's just... Like, sticking with the core mechanics, sticking with the identity of the game, they just have insanely good morale. And as you say, it has to be a function of the unit, not things. So if you have pure humans, you're not mixing them.
Yeah. Humans
actually give a bonus, and if you have other units, then that bonus is gone.
So do you think it would be every human... Because there's 2 ways you can do it, right? Every human unit gives you... every human unit has double the chance of getting morale as normal. So instead of a 1 in... instead of a 12% chance at max morale of getting a second turn, they'd have a 25% chance at max morale of getting a second turn. Or instead, you could just say their max morale, instead of being 3, is 5, and then just... morale level 4 and 5 just give you an increased chance.
I think that human units could give you morale, like each one you have.
Kind of like...
And so if you're missing some from your army, then you're not going to get as much of a bonus.
Yeah, kind of like what the angels do in number 3.
Yeah, and I think that it shouldn't be like 25. I think they should have like a 33% chance or even a 40% chance for that bonus.
I think it would become like... At some point, it's like just give them double damage or double turns, because you don't want it to be too gimmicky feeling, right? Like the
even double to 30%, even that. Like it's just they get morale way more often. I think if that's their specialty, then I feel like that could work quite well for them.
Yeah, I think double's pretty good, probably.
My main problem is the humans are meant to be a solid march forward faction that doesn't rely on magic or strangeness or random chance.
Yeah.
And so having their gimmick being relying on random chance,
right? What if
feels a bit off?
Something to do with like the less their faction, because what's the classic trope, right? Your army's dying, and then the hero runs forward and stabs the evil bad guy, right? Yeah. Like Isildur at the last second kills Sauron, right? So I'm thinking along the lines of like your morale becomes more reliable until it's 100%. When you have 1 stack remaining or something. Like, I think that becomes a very gimmicky feeling when you're fighting against them. You're just like, oh, Paladin's going to go twice. There we go. You know. Yeah. So that's probably too annoying. But what about...
Could it give the Paladin actually a special ability beyond his double damage to undead?
Like, he could just be a spellcaster that, like, grants morale to...
No, you can't make him a spellcaster. Extra button pressing in Heroes 2 is not ideal.
But it doesn't. You don't have to cast it. You don't have to press an extra button. You just click on one of your own units.
No, that's not a thing in Heroes 2. There's no unit that does that.
Make the paladin do it though. And then you just.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think it's either aura or effect or something.
Yeah.
And it could.
What about? So it's possible in Heroes 2. There's some very weird interactions. It's a bug technically, but you can do it. I don't think people do it in gameplay. I want to make a video on it because I don't think anyone has ever made a video on it. But you can actually move and shoot in Heroes 2. And it's really annoying to pull off, but you can do it. And I wonder if you made that like consistent for the humans or something.
They only got one archer unit.
Yeah, but like other things like that. Like you can also, I don't know if you could do it, but you might be able to do like strike and returns.
I was just thinking, just give the paladin the RPA ability.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just clang, 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 clang,
Well,
clang.
I think it would make more sense for the champion to have that ability.
It'd be hilarious on the paladin though, just the clang, 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 thwack.
Or what about something like a really powerful ability would actually be either at the start of their move or at the end of their move, they can move one space. So like you, for instance, your champion attacks, hits an enemy, and then he can just move back one space. Or even better, your archer takes a step sideways and then shoots. Like something like that could be very powerful. But it would be, Heroes 2 is all about elegance, right?
Yeah.
And that gets a little clunky possibly.
That's the thing. I think the linchpin of the change should be in the Crusader or the Paladin.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like they're pretty solid as like they're kind of the one good unit in the faction. Like,
well, my other thought is making peasants useful, but that kind of destroys their whole idea of them being useless. But if you have them in your army, you get the morale. But that's just wrong on so many levels.
That's kind of that's kind of interesting though, actually. Or like peasants don't lower your movement speed because they are in charge of logistics. Like you could do something like that.
Yeah.
Like each peasant in your army gives you +1 movement.
It's fine. Because we.
No, I like that.
We were talking earlier about
that is so good actually.
Age of Empires.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem. I went through a thought experiment of every unit without a unique power. Let's give them unique power.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a very weird thing of what's actually something that fits this and historically. So you look at the longbowmen. Yeah. And so what can you give the longbowmen? Because my one thought, which is what they kind of did in Age of Empires 4, was they can put stakes in front of themselves, which mess up cavalry charges. Yeah. But that already... I don't want anything stacking. I don't want anything similar. And I already decided I want the Teutonic Knight to be able to build walls. It's like, that's just another unit that can build walls, so I don't want that for the longbowmen. Yeah. And it's very hard to think of things that fit certain units. Because they already have a personality, and then it's like, oh, I want a power as well that's unique with their personality. And that's another problem with the Heroes of Might and Magic. So it's like, my one thought is, well, what's the most famous battle of the longbowmen? Yeah, Angkor. Yes, and they were in the woods, and they stepped out of the woods and fired. And so my thought is, maybe longbowmen can penetrate one layer of trees and basically pass through them. I think the thing is, you can, you don't need a power to be an identity, because their power can be, +2 range, which they already have. Right? Yeah, but I wanted to come up with a unique power. Yeah. Beyond that, than just a bonus. But that's the same problem facing here, is that what do you give the humans, not destroying the elegance of the game or themselves? Because, for example, the champions in number 2 don't have any special abilities, but they're the fastest unit in the game. No, the champions number 2 have charge mods. No, they don't. They don't? No. Well, they could get that. Yeah, but I don't know, it's a bit gimmicky. But they're just the fastest unit in the game, right? And that's an identity in of itself. Yeah. And I think that's... do they go first, or do flyers go before them? They go first. So you can cast haste. Yeah. Then. Yeah, no, the champion's the fastest unit. So you have your champion, then you cast haste on your paladin so he can get across the map and hit something. Yeah. Now, does haste increase initiative? Yes. Okay. Yeah. But the Phoenix is equally as fast, because they're both ultra speed. Yeah. And then what's after ultra? Is it instant or is it ludicrous? I can't remember. I think it's flying. No, there's no... flying just lets you cover the whole map, right? Yeah, you can just go anywhere on the map if you fly. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're slowed. If you're slowed, then you have to go the normal amount of movement spaces you would at that speed. Oh. So a unit that's flying but is average speed, like a rock, can't actually cross the map. If you slow it, it'll take 3 turns to cross the map. Okay. Even though it would normally
go anywhere it wanted, which is it's a really weird mechanic, but I like it. It's very different from the other games in the series. So the Phoenix, like, it is possible that the knight can't actually cross the whole map. What about if the knights can, like, add obstacles?
No, again, that's lose elegance.
Yeah.
The elegance might have to not be in the tactics, but it might have to be in the macro.
Yeah. Like in the strategy layer somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I really like the idea of the peasants adding +1 movement per peasant. So once you get to 100 movement, so 100 peasants, that means you can move 1 extra space per turn, right? If you get 141 peasants, you can move 1 extra space diagonally a turn. If you, like, I think...
Peasants become a system for logistics.
Yeah, so then you actually kind of want to protect them, but they're still bad in your army. Like, it actually has a use for them. And then you have to decide, am I going to leave my spearmen at home to take the peasants for the logistics, or am I going...
Spearmen are just worse knights.
Well, yeah, but they're still a decent unit. It's just the unupgraded swordsman is, like, better and cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. What if, okay, as a faction thing then, and to increase their growth output, no, this is dumb. You know how once you upgrade a unit in Heroes of Might and Magic 2, you can no longer buy the unupgraded version. Like if you upgrade a building, so if you buy the Black Tower, you can no longer recruit green dragons or red dragons, right? So what if they get both, like in Heroes 3? They can just, like, you can recruit either or. Now, the Humans faction is kind of the worst option for that because like there's not really a benefit to the lower versions, where like in the Warlock there is, because one's way cheaper and also you can cast spells on and stuff, but it could be an option. Or no, I'm really liking my peasant idea right now, actually. I also think like they could do with a building that does something for them.
Well, stable.
Yeah, stable would be good, because as Heroes 2 stands, the Warlocks have the second best heroes, I think I would say, and they have the best town, and they have the best units.
They have 2 of the best units.
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, like, you could get rid of black dragons. They still have gargoyles.
Yeah.
And even if you got rid of gargoyles and black dragons, all their other units are very decent.
They have the best building in the game. Like,
centaurs are a fairly tanky archer. Hydras are a tier 5 that's equal to a tier 6.
Yeah.
Minotaurs are just they're fast, good morale, hit hard. Like,
centaurs are the second best tier 1.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I mean, they're a range tier 1, so that's good. And they also have decent HP for an archer. And then...
Well, you could say skeletons are better because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, like, all things equal, like equal numbers.
The biggest downside with centaurs is they take up 2 spots, so they're kind of annoying to deal with. But
so pixies are the best tier 1. Or fairies.
Yeah, I could see that.
No retaliation can cross the map in a single turn. You send them out an archer and neutralize it. No other tier 1 can neutralize an archer turn 1.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. Well, are gargoyles tier 1? No, they're tier 2. Yeah, okay. And then griffins, just a very solid unit. Like, they're good.
Flying wolves.
Yeah, like they have decent like tankiness too. Yeah. And also they have infinite retaliations, so you can just keep going with them.
And they always retaliate.
Yeah. So what's that about though, right? Like, talking about things being thematic.
Yeah.
Why do griffins always retaliate?
Because they got horse hooves in the back, so they can kick you if you go around behind.
No, they don't have horse hooves. That's hippogriffs, you're thinking of. They're lion
birds?
Lion eagles, yeah. They're just ferocious, I guess. They just don't stop. And then what about the Cyclops paralyzing? Like, I think it's kind of an Eye of Balor thing, but...
Because they had no idea what to do with the Cyclops in number... But they made a very cool ability where it shoots a laser from its eye.
I think...
Because not many things have, like, Cyclops shooting lasers from their eyes, and it's cool. And I got confused when I learned that Cyclopses didn't do that.
Yeah. And they should be throwing rocks, like in number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, let's see, other units that are weird? I think the others are pretty good. Why are Minotaurs so happy? That one is a little...
They like fighting.
Yeah.
Any other weird ones? Let's see. The dwarves are resistant to magic. Why are dwarves resistant to magic?
I mean, dwarves in Norse mythology were like...
Wizards,
so you could kind of see it.
I think it's because of D&D, dwarves are resistant to everything.
Yeah, but they're just like very tough in D&D, right? Like, they're not exactly magic resistant.
No, but they just have good saves, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably why. And...
Why are unicorns blind?
Well, that one's obvious. They're like stabbing out their eyes.
Anyone can stab out someone's eyes.
Yeah, but they got a pointy...
There's... In, God of High School, there's this incredibly stupid thing that happens where one of the main characters loses his eye. And so he's got this eye patch, and he's fighting in a tournament. everyone starts targeting his remaining eye. It's like, oh, if we can take out his other eye, he's completely blind. And I'm just thinking, well, just take out both people's eyes if that's just... Like, why are you focusing so much on his one eye? Like, the main thing you should be focusing on is he's missing this field of view over here. You shouldn't be going, oh, I can make him blind if I take out his eye. It's like, oh, I gotta defend my eye. If I lose my eye, I'll lose all of my ability to fight. It's like...
You could always take out the eyes.
Yes.
Okay, what if you give humans war machines?
Yeah.
That's kind of in their thing.
They just use catapults.
And that's also on their unit level, right?
Yeah.
Now, would you make the war machines... Like, I think it should be the same ones, like first aid tent, ammo cart, like... Or maybe not the ammo... I mean, there's magical items in number 2 that do that, so it's a bit weird. But some variant of that, right? Like, you know, ballista, catapult...
Just the ballista.
Yeah, I think the first aid tent as well could be good.
Yeah, but they just rock up onto the battlefield with those things where they would be in the siege.
Yeah. Or, do you have them take up a whole unit slot? So you're like, oh, do I want to bring a...
No, it's just like the siege.
Okay.
It's just a human hero comes...
And then
No, not a human hero doesn't come with them. You have to have pikemen to get the ballista, and you have to have peasants to have the...
What if the... It's an ability I thought of on my own when I was designing my own Heroes of Might and Magic Lake, but then a Heroes Hour actually implemented, not because of me, but they implemented separately because it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Which is your dead units, or 50% of your dead units, return back to the buildings in town after they've been healed, essentially. Like, so you have to buy them back, but you keep the unit supply going. Because Heroes of Might and Magic is an interesting game. In Age of Wonders, you can build infinite units. In Heroes of Might and Magic, you're limited by time. If a unit dies, you have to wait a whole week until you can get another unit. And so every loss actually permanently lowers the amount of units in the world.
Actually, this fixes several problems, what I just thought of. Which is, your starting faction, as you said, doesn't have to be your personality, but it's definitely a start of how you go before you conquer a town.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have a warlock coming along and stealing the human's identicas. You want this boss to be unique to the human.
Yeah.
So, when you start the game as a human, you just get like 2 magic items.
I think that makes you a bit too, like, because I prefer if it's a bit... If I take a warlock town, I want to be able to grab a gargoyle.
If you beat that human hero, you get their magic items.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Because it...
I have to think about it. Yeah. Because it's a little gimmicky, right? Like, it's a little odd. But it is a sort of... I can see it on the sort of Siegfried level. Like, the humans are the ones that are out there questing and being heroes and whatnot. But everyone's a hero, technically, in Heroes of Might and Magic.
Well, it's also... There's an orc and an elf are 2 of the main heroes for humans.
Yeah. I think, like, would it be when you start the game, or would it be if you hire a human hero?
When you start the game.
Okay.
Because you just hire human heroes and take their items and give them to your other heroes.
Because you already kind of do that in Heroes of Might and Magic, where you're like, I need to see, so I'm going to hire a warlock, and then I have the scouting ability, and I can walk around. And, I need to be on the water, time to hire a sorceress and send her out on the water. Yeah. That sort of thing. But I think, because it doesn't really... I think the problem for me is, like, the magic items. Yeah. You're getting, like, bonus attack or bonus defense or something, right? And then the neat thing that makes humans humans is that they're this weaker faction. Yeah. But now they're just hitting harder or taking less damage. So, but or it could be like you get the helm that makes you immune to lightning or something. Like it's a neat idea. I think like for a Heroes olden era sort of thing.
Heroes 2.5.
Yeah, or like but I think it's a little, look, your idea is a little gimmicky and weird. I think we should go back to sticking multiple units in the same slot. And then they move with the lowest...
Or humans could just be the worst faction.
Yeah, but I just think that they need... Because if it gets too far, like that dream I had, right? Yeah. You'll never take them. Now, I think Heroes 2, they are good enough...
Well, so here's the other thing about Heroes 2. Is yes, it's a multiplayer game, but I think Heroes 2 has some of the best scenarios in the whole series.
Yeah, no, and they're great.
The scenario is you're a human going into a cave of wonder, or you're a human on the planet of the undead.
Yeah, sometimes you need that sort of faction. But in terms of just like a fair, like, slugfest type map, I think, like, one solution you could do...
is just the map's advantage to the hero starting town, if you have locked in towns.
There is maps that do that. But I think another thing you could do is just, if humans always started with the, whatever it's called, the tilting arena, what is it called, do you remember? The thing that lets you require horsemen, or whatever they're called. Arena. Is it just an arena? Yeah. Yeah. So if humans just always start with an arena, because the problem is they're like one good thing,
You never build.
is super late game and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And it costs like 20 wood for the 3 pegs that you stick in the ground. Or you could be buying a cathedral. And so if they could just get an early game, they would have like that boost there, right? Because it's kind of like their early game, just they have nothing to get them on their feet. And then when you conquer a barbarian town, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get trolls. When you conquer, they have no flyers. They're the only faction with, no, the orcs, sorry, the barbarians also don't have flyers. But lack of flyers is a huge downside.
Yeah.
Wait, do the barbarians have flyers?
They do not.
They do not. Yeah. Yeah. So lack of flyers is huge, but the barbarians at least have a really good archer to make up for it, and they also have ogres, which is like the best dollar for pound unit in the game, basically. So they have 2 really solid units where you're like, okay, I took a barbarian town, I now have tanks and I now have archers.
Yeah.
You take a warlock town, you say, I now have the best units in the game and a bunch of money.
Also, if you start with the barbarians, it's like, all right, I can recruit my max amount of goblins, and I can take out an early game guardian.
Yeah, because you hit really hard.
Yeah.
You take a wizard town, and you're like, okay, I now have the best archers in the game, I have the second best archers in the game, and I have flyers, and I have a really good tier 1 archer.
And a very nice library.
And I have the library, and I have a tank.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm good to go. You take the sorceress, you're like, I have the fastest unit in the game, and I have a flyer. And I have 2 really decent archer options, and then a really solid tier 5. You take the undead, you're like, I now have vampires.
Yes.
But
and liches.
Yes, you got a decent archer again. But you take the human town, and what's your like, oh yeah, I got the humans, now I have...
I can screw over the undead players.
But that's later on, right? Like, that's if you're much later on. But you just take the town early game. You don't really have a thing. And even then, like, paladins... Sure,
I have the hardest town in the game to take.
Yeah, it's like, I just took the hardest town in the game to take, and now I got nothing for it once I'm inside.
Yeah.
Like, the defense... That is a good point, though. That is the humans' thing, is their town is hard to take. And then they have the farms, which increase... What? The amount of peasants you get or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So, who cares? And do they have another thing, or is that it?
They can't build a max level mage guild.
Yeah. But the warlocks get, like, plus 1,000 gold per turn from their dungeon, which is, like, it's ridiculously good. Yeah. No, the humans... I think, like, if you just give the humans, like, a stables, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay, I took a human town, now I have the stables.
Yes.
I think that's pretty solid right there. Or, oh, I got some peasants. Yes, I can add those to my army and now I can move faster. Like, I think defense and logistics is kind of the mindset I have there.
Yeah, or have peasants at home. Now they can produce 1 gold per peasant.
Yeah.
Per day.
Yeah.
And they actually do sort of pay off.
Yeah. We're kind of like the kobolds in Horn of the Abyss now, which produce gold.
Yeah. Well, the peasants in number 5 also do that.
Yeah. But I think the peasants in number 2 would be better because they're so cheap. Like, they're like 20 gold or less, I think.
Yeah, the peasants in number 5 actually pay off remarkably fast because they do produce it every day.
If you gave the humans... So I don't know if you've done first aid since the update in Horn of the Abyss, but it basically increases your health by a percentage.
Yeah.
And a peasant with +1 health in Heroes of Might and Magic 2 is a twice as good peasant.
Still garbage.
But you like doubled their output. So if that is the faction that has the first aid tent, that like gives you more hit points or something, and then that's very fitting, right?
Yeah.
I think that could be out there.
I mean, okay, here's the advantage of the humans, right? I can upgrade every unit that's worthwhile upgrading. Because humans, you can upgrade every single one of their units.
Yeah.
But the peasants.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's why I like them. Because they get all shiny. They go from red to blue and they get shiny.
So what if they could upgrade their peasants? Which was done in the Succession Wars mod, where they turn them into brutes, so they turn into like a sort of clubman.
And they still suck.
But actually they're okay. Like they're actually kind of like goblin level unit.
Yeah.
Which
Succession Wars I thought adds upgrades to everything though.
Yeah. But that sort of idea, like make the humans the faction that can upgrade everything.
They can upgrade twice.
Or because they have the blacksmith, right? Like that's their building.
Yeah.
You could make them the faction that can upgrade other factions' units. Like on that theme of like, you know, the factory, how they capture Quetzalcoatl and then they put it in armor and its colors all die. You go grab a goblin, you stick him in your town, you give him like an actual like metal sword. You go and you grab an ogre, you give him a real axe. You become like the slaver faction.
It's not, no, but they're raising them up. They're civilizing them and raising them up.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting idea.
That's really cool. It's a bit of a gimmick.
It's very gimmicky.
but I like it.
It's fun. It's very gimmicky, but it's fun.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like the thoughts of you can like have a war boar and you get.
And
like,
what if like some of the things just upgrade your building instead of you upgrading that unit? So like a boar, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You go over. And there's a building cost, which is an upgrade for like the peasant hovel, which is like 10 boars. So you're going to grab 10 boars. You upgrade the peasant hovel, and now your peasants can ride boars. Or like you capture a unicorn. You capture like 10 unicorns from the sorceresses. And now your champions aren't riding horses, they're riding unicorns.
You just made humans the most complicated. You just turned the humans into a Dominions tier faction.
Oh, it'd be so cool. I don't think it would be like good for base game, but like as a mod, that'd be fun to play every once in a while. You'd be like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, you have crusaders riding black dragons.
Or you know how like the Hero series has a lot of like unexpected things. Like you visit a stable on the map and your unit just upgrades.
Yeah.
Even though that's not what it says it does. Or like your magi lower the cost of casting your spells if they're in your army. What if you just like if you show up to a human town with 50 unicorns, just suddenly your stable upgrades and you're like, what the? And then you can get champions on unicorns. So it doesn't have to be complicated. You just like you get surprised every once in a while.
And it doesn't have to be for every single unit.
Yeah, it's just like
just do specific.
You get
things.
boar peasants, you get unicorn champions, and you can also upgrade like goblins with a real weapon instead of whatever that stick they have is.
I think it's a rib cage.
Yeah, it's not much of a. It's weird. Yeah, you just give them a real thing, and then like I think that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. You can give, the little archer hat that the upgraded archer has?
Yeah.
You can give hydras, like, one on each head. It doesn't do anything.
Actually, it could be for each faction gets a thing for the human town.
Yeah.
So you can have...
And with the hydras, it doesn't actually, do anything to their stats. It's just a cosmetic. Except you're not allowed to stack them with non-hatted hydras.
I actually want to think about an actual thing for that.
Okay.
So
I think goblins would be the obvious one, or ogres. They get like a better weapon out of.
No, ogres have an upgrade.
Yeah, but you just get like another one. Like you just get like a steel axe instead of their like whatever that thing is made of stone or something. Or like the goblins get an upgrade. I think another obvious one is the undead, where the skeletons just get like armor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the bone dragon gets armor.
Yeah, bone dragon or the skeleton gets armor. I think makes sense. The sorceress. The pixie, I guess, is the obvious choice because they don't have an upgrade.
The unicorn.
Unicorn doesn't... war unicorn.
Yeah.
You get a war unicorn.
Or it could be a combination of you have crusaders that ride unicorns.
Well, I think you could... Oh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. You take the unit to the town and you upgrade it there.
Yeah. And
so you upgrade a unicorn, suddenly there's a man on it in blue armor with a blue stripy lance.
Yeah. Or it's... Actually, this is kind of... You know what this is? This is what Heroes 3 could have been. Like, it's Heroes 2, but more. Right? Yeah. Like, yeah. So then, yeah, you bring the unicorn there. Now, the problem with this is it's such a neat idea. I think making it the Knights factions thing is actually not enough, and I would want to do it for everything, right? So, like, you bring a boar from the wizards over to the... what do they call them, guys? Barbarians?
Yeah.
Now you've got goblins on boars, right? Like
You bring the griffin to the humans, and it belongs to them now. And you bring the gargoyle to the gargoyles to the wizards, and it belongs to them now. And you bring the eagles to the barbarians, and
actually, now this would lore-wise this doesn't really work because it's the wizards that are the slavers.
Yeah.
But the humans could have the dungeon town in number 3. They have this portal of summoning.
Yeah.
Which is basically just an extra slot that brings in. And actually, in number 4, the Haven Town or whatever it's called, they actually have that like mirror of summoning that you can lock in another unit of your choice, right? So that the humans could actually have like a cage as a building, and you just bring any unit in the game, and then you can just produce that unit as if you had that dwelling.
Yeah.
And that would be really interesting because you have to sacrifice one of those units, and then you have the cage, and you can stick whatever you want in it. And because the choice would be interesting because I think I would probably go for a gargoyle or a black dragon.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be... You could focus on... The humans could have like a mercenary camp or...
Yeah.
A ship that brings things in.
Yeah. Although the ship is more the sorceress. Yeah. But yeah, the humans... Like a mercenary or a rally point because the humans are like really big on morale.
Yeah.
So they have... And a lot of... This is actually interesting because a lot of the buildings in number 2 became more general things in number 3, like the blacksmith and like the rare item that was the ballista became a just a standard item in number 3, that sort of thing. So you do it in reverse. A rally point is a common map object in number 3. You make that a human-specific building.
Yeah.
And then the humans can get... I think... Like, you could say it's a random unit every week, but I think it would be more interesting if you could choose it. But to choose it, I think there need to be some limitations. So I think it would be like, you bring a unit there, and then they can rally their friends.
I came up with the thing to give humans, right?
Yeah.
So, in a human town, you can flick a switch, and it becomes a neutral town.
Yeah.
And then you recruit genies.
and like rogues and everything.
Yeah, I mean, not like rogues, Medusa. What would be interesting for a Heroes 3 mod is, so Arathia is where Heroes 3 is. Is Heroes 2 on Arathia? No, because Gem came from a different land.
Not like a different world, though. She just came from a different continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's her continent?
It's not coming to mind right now.
Because also Sandro came from that continent.
Yeah.
But what would be interesting, mod-wise, is an invasion.
Yeah.
Which... Basically, you have dungeon, and then you have warlocks. And so they've got their weird swamp with their tower, and they've got black dragons in their tower. And so, and you want to make it so, like, the dungeon black dragons are a little different. They're actually the rulers of the dungeon faction, and they're like these matriarchal dragons.
Yeah.
Whereas the dungeons in Hero 2 in the tower are dragons that the warlocks have kind of captured there and breed.
Yeah.
And... you could have their dragons actually go through green, red, and black and be way more powerful than the black dragons of the dungeon.
The weird thing is, and it kind of bothers me because the math doesn't make sense to me, but Heroes 2 and Heroes 3 are actually using the same stats. Like, a black dragon in Heroes 2 has 300 health, a black dragon in Heroes 3 has 300 health. The difference is the most units in Heroes 2 get to about 70 health at most.
Yeah.
Whereas in number 3, there's a much more even spread from about 5 health all the way up to 300.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of units with 120 and 200 and 220. Yeah. But so you can't really... the Black Dragons aren't actually super strong in number 2. It's just that everything else is weak. Whereas in number 3, they kept a lot of those weak units, but they filled in all the gaps. So it's kind of it's a tricky one to say that they would be much stronger. But I do like the idea of them being stronger, and I did make a mod where they have 450 health and like a bit more attack.
It's kind of the idea of the evasion.
Yeah, no, I really like
it. You fill in the gaps of the Heroes 2 units that are missing because they're in the new land. So
I was actually thinking like Slay the Spire 2. I don't like the creature fights as much as in number 1, but it has this interesting mechanic where there's different zones you go to. So like, you know how there's Act 1, 2, and 3? There's actually 2 different Act 1s and 2 different Act 2s and 2 different Act 3s.
Yeah.
So I was thinking what they could also do is add like another act to each of them, which is Slay the Spire 1.
Yeah.
And so like you have all your new characters and cards and everything, but you're just going through Slay the Spire 1.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a really, like, just bring the old game into the new one.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun. And see how they compare to each other. And yeah, like you said, like the Heroes 2 invasion would be really cool. Okay, so what do Warlocks do? They visit the human town, and you get to stick the gargoyle on the church, which gives them another defensive bonus of, at the start of the siege, the gargoyles fly off the walls, and they sit by each archer that your attacking opponent has, so they can't shoot.
You can't use range weapons against the human.
Well, you could kill it's just a single gargoyle, so you just kill the gargoyle. But like you miss that first turn, like I think that'd be a really good defense.
And then if you bring titans to them, any unit that flies gets struck by a lightning bolt.
Yeah. No, we already did the boar.
I know, but it's just the absurd defense the human.
But what does the warlock get as like when they benefit from going over to humans? So like, the hats on the Hydra. The hats on the Hydra, of course.
No, they get armored griffins or royal griffins.
Because royal griffins, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, no, they get the royal griffin. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Royal griffin, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a cool idea for a mod. All right, get the
Isn't 2 like a nightmare to mod?
There's
not as much as 4, but
Free Heroes project is like its own engine. So
okay,
and it's not too hard for them to mod. The problem is they have no artists in their team. So they're very good at like the coding side, but they don't have any artists. So
it's really easy art actually.
Well, sort of like you have to do the animations and everything, right? So and
I guess there is pretty big animation cycles for all units.
And trying to make it look good, like even the Succession Wars team, they have a bunch of artists, but they keep. When they made the imps, they were like super skinny, and they're like, okay, that doesn't look right, and so it's tricky.
Succession Wars still going, or did they kind of fizzle out?
They're still going. I think when the lead creator, what's his name, or whatever, when he got his like PhD, I think he was busy for a while. But they're still going. It's just slow. Yeah. Because it's a very messy thing they're trying to do. Like they're trying to mod Heroes 3 to
Are they modding Heroes 3 to be Heroes 2? Or
no,
are they modding Heroes 2 to be Heroes 3?
They're modding Heroes 3 to be Heroes 2, but it's not quite that simple because they actually want it to be Heroes 3 gameplay with Heroes 2 aesthetics more. Is kind of their but also Heroes 2 faction compositions as well, sort of thing. So they're trying to mesh the gameplay into like the ultimate best game.
So they're trying to add the witch with the swamp and
but they also want to like have the weight option and to have every unit can upgrade and to have.
That's actually interesting. So Heroes 1 is a location.
Yeah.
It's mountain. I think it's lake is what the humans were.
I don't know. It's mountain field,
forest.
Yeah, and something else. Yeah.
And then Heroes 2 is actually a knight, a sorcerer, a warlock, a necromancer.
So it's like a profession. And then number 3 is the name of the castle.
Yeah.
And then number 4 and 5 are like the kind of place it is. Like it's a haven or a...
Haven, dungeon.
Yeah. So they kind of keep number 3. But number 3 is a different... Number 3 is a different kind of fortification. So it's like stronghold, castle, fortress.
And then Olden Ericsor keeps as the haven still.
Yeah. So they kind of stuck with that. Although haven isn't really a kind of fortress.
No.
So they switched it a bit more to like a type of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they have Haven and Sylvians for the elves now.